My name's Token D Rock here with another stream. Hopefully, all of you are having a wonderful day. It is Tuesday, November 29th, 9:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. Got a few things to discuss. Apple in bed with the CCP, hypocrisy from Western NPCs, and have the Fed looking to possibly nuke the market here in the next 2 weeks. Let's get to it. Crypto market cap right now is sitting at $831 billion. Bitcoin dominance chilling at 37.9%, while ETH dominance sits at 17.8%. Bitcoin not too much higher from where it was yesterday. Right now sitting at $16,383. ETH sitting at 1207. BNB just barely under $300. Dogecoin at 10 cents. Cardano at 30.9 cents roughly. Matic 83.3 cents. Polkadot 527. Um, Chainlink 732. Cosmos 1008. Taking a look at the stock market. We're just barely down for the day. I do believe the Dow Jones Industrial Average is going to form a shoulder here in the next 2 to 3 days, if I were to guess, ahead of the CPI print. I think there's a possibility maybe we come up just briefly, but ultimately come down tomorrow, and then Thursday maybe come up to the shoulder right around 33,760, but ultimately dump leading into Friday. But I don't know, maybe I'm just too bearish. Taking a look at the daily chart for Bitcoin, things. Okay, this is the wrong chart. Pardon me. Should be the 1 hour. Okay, so yeah, taking a look at the hourly chart, things aren't looking too hot for Bitcoin. We continually bonk our heads right around at this level, right around 16,500, 16,525. And the bulls lost momentum. Bears drove the price action down above 16,300. Would the bulls keep pushing forward, or is the momentum fizzling out and bears are about to take over? Taking a look at the 1 minute chart again, not a whole lot of deviation from where we were headed yesterday. Again, can see Bitcoin has in the past few hours again tried to break above 16,550, but ultimately get rejected, and now we're trading above 16,300. Will this line of support right around here hold? I do not think it will. I think Bitcoin will dump ahead of the stock market, but again, that's just my analysis. Taking a look at the daily chart, we finally have a green candle for today. We had 5 consecutive red daily candles. We'll see if this one holds. We are running out of space, you guys, heading into December. So, again, we can see a shakeout of some sort. Maybe today we come up to here. Tomorrow we come back down to here, putting in a lower low. And ultimately, maybe Thursday, come back up to here. And then ultimately, maybe we have a fake out, breakout. Ultimately, we dump. Again, time will tell. Taking a look at the DXY, the dollar seems to have found a bottom, so to speak. DXY looks to be trending upwards. I think we're going to be more or less going to the upside DXY on the DXY chart. I think going into next week, I think things will flip to the upside. Headed over to Twitter for some news. Blast from the past: top 5 crypto assets by and back in November of 2017. We have Bitcoin sitting at $9,330, Ethereum sitting at 471, Cash sitting at 1735, XRP sitting at a quarter a piece. Bitcoin Gold sitting at 367. This is pretty crazy because this is just before I got into crypto the first time, the first run around. I did buy the Pico top on Dogecoin and probably Bitcoin late December of 2017 or like early January. I don't remember which one it is, but pretty crazy stuff to see how far things have come, and it just shows you how when you lack perspective, you think right now prices are horrendous. Look, Bitcoin 17 was $9,330. Fun fact: 5 years ago today, Bitcoin's topped at $10,000 a piece for the first time in history. And just putting things in perspective, we're not too far off from some of the highs back in 2017 and early 2018. Redditor sees a Bitcoin ad and remembers an old wallet. They found 600 Bitcoin today, which is worth almost $9 million. Now, some people in the comments are like, "Oh, well, it would be 30. It'd be worth $36 million had he remembered earlier this year." And it's like, if this guy's smart, he's going to play the long game. I'm not saying he has to hold all 600 Bitcoins. He could sell a few off, but if I were him, I'd just play the long game and, keep stacking. Because long term, this 9 million could be 90 million, could be 900 million. Again, just putting things in perspective. We're super early. Bitfront crypto exchange announces they are shutting down. So another crypto exchange going underwater, going to possibly file bankruptcy. Anthony Pompliano invested a crap ton of money into BlockFi. He showed the platform to his audience members, much like I did once upon a time. I'm not about shilling anything anymore. Like if you want to get a cold storage wallet, that's on you. I'm not going to advocate one or another. I did buy a ledger the other day, or a coin ledger, or whatever the fuck it's called, and I've read up on that, and that I'm like now skeptical about. So for the time being, I'm not going to promote any products or services because I don't want to be like this guy who lures in hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of people down the road, and then they get rug pulled. I don't want to be held responsible. I don't want people to be like, "Oh, well, you told me to buy that, blah 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 blah." Well, I'm not gonna pull an Anthony Pompliano and shill these crypto platforms anymore. BlockFi just filed bankruptcy. It's kind of funny. This hat says "not gonna make it," and then, not surprisingly, it's a BlockFi hat. BlockFi did not go bankrupt because of FTX. BlockFi is bankrupt because they lent customer deposits to high-risk traders who were playing reckless games with leverage. BlockFi has roughly $1 to $10 billion in liabilities, but only 256 million cash on hand. Yikes, not a good look. BlockFi is now suing Sam Bankman-Fried over Robinhood shares. If you recall, we discussed how Sam Bankman-Fried owns, I believe, like 7 or 8% of the shares for Robinhood. So personally, I would not keep anything on Robinhood, especially not crypto. FTX donated a whopping FTX US, donated a whopping $70 million to US politicians just weeks before filing for bankruptcy. And here I have people saying, "Oh, well, there's no way some of that money came from Ukraine." Like, get out of here, dude. This guy clearly knows what he's doing, knows how to play the game. His parents are friends with Elizabeth Warren. His girlfriend from Alameda Research, her dad used to be the boss of Gary Gensler. To think that's not all interconnected, you got to be smoking some good stuff. um, Kevin O'Leary almost secured $8 billion to rescue FTX when reports of FTX being investigated. All of a sudden, the interested investors vanished. Wow, would you look at that? Breaking news: BitBoy Crypto supposedly going to be doing a Twitter Space with Sam Bankman-Fried here in the next 2 weeks. Supposedly, Sam Bankman-Fried has unblocked BitBoy on Twitter now, so he can confirm we have spoken. BitBoy says he looks forward to getting answers to the question the community must have to move forward. Here we have some people asking to join the panel and the spaces and stuff like that. Be part of the discussion. Probably nothing, but 900 billion SHIB was transferred from crypto.com to Binance. I'm curious as the reason as of why this happened, but as the story develops, we'll discuss it. About $4.8 billion in USDC sent from Coinbase to Circle addresses in the last 14 days. Cashing out. I don't know. Weird stuff. I do think that if Binance or Coinbase were to go under, I do think we're seeing potentially a capitulation of Bitcoin under 10K. I think that's definitely in the cards. If Coinbase or Binance or both were to declare bankruptcy or file bankruptcy, it would not be very good for the crypto space short term. Hut 8 shareholders will not be happy to hear North Bay is now offline with the power supply cost issues with Validus Power. 800 I'm not gonna Petrahash impacted. I'm not gonna act like I know what that is. But not good. Bitcoin miners potentially capitulating here. Miner capitulation is in full effect. Hash rate dropping off a cliff. Difficulty adjustment incoming as well. Bitcoin sell pressure increasing. Sounds like buying season to me. Glassnote says, in our latest reports with Crypto Slate, we analyze the Bitcoin mining sector and how the industry is under immense financial stress. Find is that Bitcoin miners are distributing around 135% of mined coins. This means miners are dipping into their 78,000 Bitcoin strong treasuries. Yeah, not a good look. Might be rough times ahead. Crypto exchange Kraken reaches agreement with U.S. Treasury Department. Curious as to what this entails. Yes, Kraken pays 360,000. Just add that to the $37 billion we about to send to some other country. But why settle with U.S. Treasuries and the SEC is supposed to be be the cop on the beat for these silly security exchanges. Again, kind of curious as to what the details are pertaining to this. If we become aware of more information, we'll report on it. Despite the lobbying of anti-crypto politicians, Fidelity still went ahead, opening their doors to retail crypto trading and investing. Fidelity announced to be offering its retail clients crypto exposure earlier this month. Just a reminder that's one of the largest asset managers in the world with over $4.5 trillion in assets. Pretty crazy stuff. I think this is a sign. This is a sign that you're early and you're probably on the right track. If Fidelity, such a massive asset manager, is looking to have a retail trade crypto on their services on their platform, pardon me, pretty big stuff, and they're ignoring all these politicians. Will they pay a price for it? I doubt it, but I could be wrong. Headed over to some more news. Heavy selling pressure on Binance Coin, but someone is working really hard to hold the price up. I wonder who that could be. Would have to be someone who needs the Binance token to have value in order to stay solvent. Nobody immediately comes to mind. Dylan Leclerc points out, is anyone else getting weird vibes from CZ right now? It's like he's running the Sam Bankman-Fried summer playbook. As of late, public projection of strength and talks of industry bailouts while attempting to raise funds. not claiming anything, but the series are rather odd. He continues with saying Binance, as of late, or CZ, has been punching down on weak exchanges, attempting to raise for industry recovery fund, pledged $1 billion of BUSD that was in exchange reserves, unanswered questions on their audit firm. Just odd. I don't know. Again, I'm claiming nothing, but my BS detector has been set off a few times. Yeah, it is kind of weird that he's talking about how he's going to donate all this money to charity, how he lives so humbly. Again, it's eerily reminiscent of what Sam Bankman Fried was just claiming a few months ago. So, could we see Binance potentially going down here, term, or filing bankruptcy here in the next month or two? I don't know, but I would get your crypto off of the exchanges immediately if you can, because not your keys, not your crypto. Breaking: Grayscale does not have any Bitcoin, thus supporting the price suppression. Proof: they are not going to show the addresses of the 635,000 Bitcoin they claim to have. Uh, Grayscale seems to be in a worrisome spot as well, so could see them um, fold at some point down the line. This guy says KuCoin earn yields are going bananas. See you on the other side, lads. Yeah, like come on, guys. If you're buying into these crazy APRs on Bitcoin, USDT, Matic, Binance Coin, and ETH, these are not sustainable APRs to be paid out in. And the reality is, if you don't know where the yield comes from, you are the yield. Why people stay poor at 67,000. I got hundreds of messages from friends and families about Bitcoin at $16,000 of Bitcoin. I got zero messages. Yeah, that's reality for you. People are no longer interested when the asset has crashed. They buy into the fear, the propaganda that Bitcoin won't surpass all-time highs any anytime in the near future. So um, they fall for the propaganda, and it's their loss. Anyways, Fed's Williams giving us some mixed messaging. He says the Fed could reduce rates in 2024. That's saying that in 2023, Fed's not going to reduce rates. Then he goes on to say that inflation is expected to fall to 5.0% to 5.5% by the end of 2022, and 3.0 to 3.5% by late 2023. Well, if we take a look at the CPI numbers, inflation numbers, we're nowhere near this goal. I believe we're like at 7 to 7.5%. So maybe he's on to something. Maybe he's throwing us a bone and telling us the Fed's going to nuke the markets in about 2 weeks' time. I mean, that could be what he's hinting at. I don't think that's what he's hinting at. I think this is just a approximation as to where he thinks inflation will be going into 2023 and 2024. Fed's Brainerd says, Brainard, if you want to call it like that, says continued supply shocks may force central banks to tighten policy in order to manage risks. Tighten policy means tightening the belt, which means money printer doesn't go burr. If anything, it goes bust. Fed's Bullard says the most important thing is that we reach a sufficiently restrictive level and the financial markets understand it. Fed's Bullard adds the markets are underpricing the risk that the FOMC may be more aggressive. So essentially, the market is anticipating that the Federal Reserve is going to pivot sometime soon, or they're going to only do 25 or 50 basis points. I think by what we're hearing, I think they're going to go balls to the wall and maybe do 75 or 100 basis points for December. Again, not financial advice, not telling you what to do with your investments, but be ready. Fed's Williams, again, with the mixed messaging, now saying the Fed will need to raise interest rates even further, even after he was portraying the illusion that inflation was getting under control with his approximations. In other news, we have Apple threatening to remove Twitter from the App Store. Why is this happening? Are they afraid of the way Elon Musk is running things. Um, CCP's biggest Western supporter, Apple, is suppressing the Chinese protesters, now threatening to shut down free speech on Twitter. Are you paying attention yet? Yeah, I read somewhere that they had an update for iPhones over in China, and essentially was to limit the airdrop function because people were sharing videos and images via airdrop to many, many people around them in their vicinity. And I heard that Apple rolled out a an update for the iPhones that basically kind of limits the functionality of that AirDrop. Kind of weird. So just the reality that we have to face: Apple will threaten to take Twitter out of their store for free speech, but not TikTok that monitors everything about users for the CCP. Got it. We see where the alliances are drawn. Apple made a secret 5-year, $275 billion deal with the CCP and back in 2016 in order to be allowed to continue to operate in China. It's the reality that Apple is very bought and sold with the CCP, in bed with the CCP. Breaking: Twitter has stopped enforcing its COVID-19 misinformation policy as of November 23rd. Reading into this, as COVID-19 misinformation about their support as the global community faces COVID-19 pandemic together. Twitter is helping people find reliable information, connect with others, and follow what's happening in real time. Effective November 23rd, 2022, Twitter is no longer enforcing the COVID-19 leading information policy. Isn't it interesting that um, Twitter changes its policy regarding this, and now we have the Tim Cook talking about removing uh, Twitter app from the App Store for iPhones. Like, I don't know, kind of weird timing, Tim Cook. You might want to rethink your strategy. Right now, China will not change their zero COVID policy. Here is a video of screams of families burning in the building that was reported in Urumqi. This is a spark that lit the fuse of the protests across China, along with, I believe, a the Apple factory being shut down uh, over pay and COVID concerns and stuff like that. In the clip, I'm not going to play for you, but they're saying, open the doors, save us." CCP wouldn't let these families out of the burning buildings, so essentially these poor people were burned to death. It's disgusting. China's Guangdong province will allow close contacts of COVID-19 cases who fulfill certain conditions to quarantine at home, according to official media. Here on a train in China, we have police checking people's cell phones at the subway in Shanghai as a way to crack down on China uprising, China protests across the nation. It's part of the blank papers revolution. Um, Here's just a reminder of Guangzhou City today. If Chinese government remotely switches your health passport to code yellow, you will become homeless. Sorry, because with yellow code on your phone, you can't go back to your apartment, stay at hotel, take any public transport. Trouble to get food too. Digital asset news, or Rob says it could happen at any moment when government controls all, and that's what we need to be careful, you guys, is giving those in power the capability to do such a thing, which is what they're going to try and do with the COVID passports and the central bank digital currencies. Here we have millions of Chinese people are living in quarantine camps at their own expenses now. This is how they are getting their food, through the airlock. These are prisons. It's not about your health. Yeah, pretty dystopian. If you're buying the narrative that this is for these people's safety, I'm sorry, but you're too far gone. You're a lost cause, because these people are not being taken care of. This looks exactly like a prison cell. They throw the food in the airlock when when dinner is to be served, and I don't know, guys. And the fact that these camps were being built and being used in Australia is a frightening sign for things to come here in the Western world. Um, we had Canadian truckers being having their bank accounts frozen. People who donated to those truckers had their bank accounts frozen. Overall, over a peaceful protest, mind you. Dr. Fauci saying almost certain we didn't fund the Wuhan virus that became COVID-19. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of fishiness with Tim Cook wanting to take Twitter down, especially with the recent acquisition by Elon Musk. Here we have the latest video coming from China. Is Tim Cook afraid of the truth that be coming out on Twitter via Elon changing company policy, getting rid of certain employees, getting rid of the clear political bias? I don't know. I think there's more than meets the eye with Tim Cook wanting to remove Twitter from the App Store on iPhones. Now we have the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak declaring the golden era between UK and China is over. Is this a call for war in the near to soon future? I certainly hope not, but things are not looking great. Could we potentially see the CCP or the Chinese Communist Party grow increasingly desperate to maintain order and control on the mainland, that they go to the extremes as to invade Taiwan? Or potentially could we see the US and other allies look at what's going on in China as a perfect opportunity to potentially seize and fortify Taiwan, or possibly even invade the midland, or sorry, invade the mainland? I don't know. I'm just speculating, but we do need to entertain these possibilities, you guys. Markets will crash when and if that does happen. Notice how many who sided with the government over anti-lockdown protesters in the West last year suddenly support the mass protests in China. These people are useful idiots. They're hypocrites. They're literally protesting the same thing. And it's pretty disgusting because these same people were calling you an anti-vaxxer. They were saying you're going to kill grandma. You're a menace to society. They were basically enforcing segregation in many Western cities here in the U.S. I know in Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, many other big blue cities enforce segregational policies where if you didn't take a medical procedure, you are not allowed to enter um, the venue for the concert, the restaurant, bar. And remember, this is what these people, these sick government POSs, I'm sorry, pieces of shit, enforcing lockdowns, enforcing people to stay in their homes. When the people realized the gig was up, like it's over. You guys had your fun, you know. We're gonna get back to reality. We're gonna get back to normal life. So the reality is we cannot forgive and forget these bastards, because what they did to the world's population by and large, it is should call for Nuremberg Code 2.0. Uh, Pardon my French, but that's the reality. And isn't it interesting? The mainstream media is now very keen to report on the anti-lockdown and anti-vaccine passport protests in China. Shame they didn't do this anywhere else. So here's a quick reminder of what they previously failed to report. Look at all these protests around Europe and across the globe, in defiance of mandates, in defiance of masks and such, all the COVID policies. But Western media didn't report on it. Why is that? The hypocrisy is astounding, but not surprising. Here we have an old article saying coronavirus conspiracy theorists clash with police at anti-lockdown protests back in 2020. Now Sky News is saying remarkable bravery. Anti-lockdown protesters return to same spot in Shanghai after being pepper sprayed by police. Again, mixed messaging. Anthony Fauci adding to the grift, adding to the problem, saying the United States is certainly still in COVID-19 pandemic. Again, getting mixed messaging from these politicians And these health advisors, I mean, Joe Biden, I believe this past summer said the pandemic is over, yet he's extending the COVID emergency through April, and many Democrats have signed on to that. Again, mixed messaging. I don't know what's going on with these people. Are they sane, or are they sick in the head? They seem pretty sick in the head, if you ask me. Sweden, Norway had some of the least lockdown restrictions in the world. Turns out that Sweden, Norway also had the lowest excess mortality as well. Reality is lockdowns were a scam. 2 weeks to slow the spread. It was all BS.
See, I think there are two ways in which people are controlled. First of all, frighten people, and secondly, demoralize them.
Yeah, they frightened you with COVID. They told you if you didn't get the jab, you're going to kill grandma. You're going to kill all these people. You're going to get so many people sick, blah, blah, blah. Propaganda.
Uneducated, healthy,
and then you
and confident
demoralize
nation.
them. You pit them against each other. You claim these people who don't want to get the medical procedure, these people who want to be left alone, well, they're the problem.
It's harder to govern. And I think there's an element in the thinking of some people. We don't want people to be educated, healthy, confident, because they would get out of control. The top 1% of the world's population own 80% of the world's wealth. It's incredible that people put up with it, but they're poor, they're demoralized, they're frightened,
and sick.
Therefore they think perhaps the safest thing to do is take orders and hope for the best.
Yeah, and if history has shown us anything, taking orders is not the way forward. You know who took orders? The Nazis, who executed millions of Jewish people. You know who took orders? The descendants and the people enforcing Chairman Mao's communism over in China. Pol Pot over in Cambodia had soldiers who were just following orders. Following orders leads to nowhere good. And I don't know if this is true, but I don't know if this is true, but I thought I'd share this. Vaccinated women are now lying about their vax status as more men see them as infertility risk. I brought this up because there is an interestingly large amount of infertility cases going on between abortions, people having miscarriages shortly after getting the vaccine. But mainstream media won't cover it. Why is that? Clown world, you guys. Joe Biden's non-binary drag queen nuclear waste guru Sam Brinton, age 34, is charged with theft after they were caught on camera stealing a bag from Minneapolis airport's baggage claim. Will he be sent to prison? Will he be sent to jail? I doubt it. He'll probably get a slap on the wrist if that's when to call that person a him. I don't know what they go by, but kind of comical. Getting close to the end of the segment, you guys. I know it's a bit of a long one. Biden versus Trump. I don't like either, but got to face the facts. Inflation under Trump wasn't that bad. Gas prices were relatively low. I know they're coming down, but they're still whopping over 50% more expensive than they were when this guy left office. Mortgage rates are roughly double than what they were when he was in office. Border was more secured. I wouldn't say it was totally secured, but the reality is the border is open under Joe Biden's administration. Crime is rather high during Joe Biden's administration. I'd say it was relatively low during Trump's, but you could argue towards the end there it went high. War, this guy actually was diffusing some situations. Will add though that he did start other wars. This man is just pure starting wars. Vaccination, he was pretty adamant about getting the vaccine, though he was voluntary. He was working with big pharma, so we can't give him that. But this guy definitely is forcing you to take it. He definitely has dementia. He definitely has a crackhead son, which I don't know if we can say the same about Trump, as much as we like to shit on him. uh, Peter Ducey says, why is it that Biden would rather let U.S. companies drill for oil in Venezuela than here in the United States? Secretary Kirby says that's not an accurate take on the president's view. Earlier this month, Joe Biden said there is no more drilling. Again, just showing you how blatantly these people lie in our faces about various things, whether it's the war in Ukraine, whether it's drilling for oil here in the United States. And what's kind of comical about this whole ordeal is that the U.S. under President Trump and I believe under President Biden as well, they were going after Maduro, the president of Venezuela. They had a hit on him. They were trying to kill him, and now they're shaking hands with him because Russia doesn't want to sell us any oil. Russia doesn't want to sell Europe any oil. So we need to come up with the oil somehow. Otherwise, people are going to revolt. How come they can track my Venmo and how come they can track and tax my Venmo and Cash App transactions for $600, but we can't know where our $20 billion went in Ukraine? Great question. I wish they would answer it. Breaking news: Volkswagen is warning that the energy crisis is grinding European industry to a halt as the US and China race ahead. Deindustrialization, deindustrialization is very ugly. Just adding on to that, Europe's energy crisis could drag on for years, and industry leaders warn leaders aren't doing enough to keep the continent competitive on the global stage. Yeah, they basically shot themselves in the foot when it came to turning off the nuclear reactors. Trump actually called them out on it, and Germany laughed in his face about it. He warned them, "Oh, you're going to rely, entirely on Russian oil." They laughed at him, and now he's laughing. Electric green scooters that have reached end of battery life due to batteries being so expensive to replace. Electric scooters are just abandoned because disposing of them any other way is dangerous and expensive. Just showing you what a farce the green technology is. Look at this. All these scooters can't even be properly disposed of because it's too dangerous and too expensive. It's like, why are you giving us this tech anyways? Like, what's the whole point? I'll leave you guys with this. Well, 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 snow cover in the northern hemisphere is at a record high for the past 56 years, and winter is still nearly a month away. Did somebody lower the CO2 level in the atmosphere? Look at this. Northern hemisphere now snow extent is currently indeed very high, now at about 41 million square kilometers, according to the NOAA Rutgers Global Snow Lab. The most recent snow cover information is given the image below. Pretty wild stuff. Kind of destroys the whole narrative that the world will end by 2050 if we don't get climate change under control. Reason why I want to end with this is because Klaus Schwab, the leader of World Economic Forum, was more or less basically praising China with the way they handled COVID, with the lockdowns, the QR codes, the COVID passports, and etc. And the next thing he's pushing for is climate change, that there's a climate crisis, and if you don't do enough, you don't do what they say, the world's going to end. Is it another scam? I mean, look at how much of a scam COVID was. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. I'd like to hear from you. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe. Hit notification bell to be notified when we go live next. Today was a bit of a long one, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys all tomorrow, 9:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, take care.